AJ of Everything AJs, and today I wanted to take a few minutes to show you guys exactly how easy and how beautiful you can make these sun catchers and theme them out. And for instance, we're doing a Valentine theme because we have Valentine's Day coming up. So I actually went to the craft store and they had a ton of beads in stock, and I took advantage of a sale that they actually had going on that was buy 3 get 3 free. So I ended up spending about $53 on everything that you see here. I also came across some of the components that you guys have been asking about as far as the tube loop beads. So here is one that I found at the craft store as well, just to kind of show you that you can actually find all of the pieces that you need to be able to make one of my type of designs. So if you're interested in making a handful of these, you can go and buy some and get a really good quantity going for just $50, and I think you'll be really happy with the amount of beads that you'll find, the quality of beads that you can come across as well. And be creative, mix your different kind of colors, mix your different kind of metals. You've got just a ton of options of different things. And also, I did not forget to get my bicone beads this time. So these beads are specific for this piece here. You can see that it fits right inside. It is a little bit bigger than the ones that I typically use, but for the example of being able to use what you can find on hand, here you have it. These are all at the Michael's Craft Store. So good luck, you guys, and here we go. Let's show you exactly what I can make with these right now. Okay, so here's the one that I have finished. As usual, guys, I do the same design all the way through each one that I make. So when I set up, for instance, my beading pattern, I'm going to have these little dots where it marks in where this component should always be and where this component should always be, and then obviously my end. So here we go. This is the piece that I'm going to use. It's a fluted bead, and for instance, I'm going to cut, or actually it's on a loop, so I'm going to have to take a couple of these off, and I'm going to actually make one out of that design so that you can see the type of beads being used. I obviously have a ton of beads here to choose from, but I just wanted to make sure that I use the components that I've purchased, so it gives you that idea to go forward and pick it out yourself and be able to make them too. So let me grab my pliers. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to do a total of 4 patterns so that you can see 4 different designs. Obviously, I have way more here than what 4 would make. But I also picked out a lot of the big beads. So I use this section here to usually put a fairly larger bead so that I have that good accent detail at the top, and then I have a little bit more of a matching kind of pattern down below. So obviously I wouldn't use 2 of these in one. I would only be using the one bead that's big and then smaller beads for the rest of the design. So you can see quite a few of these beads are bigger, but I needed to personally stock up on some of those larger sizes. So that's why I have so many that I picked at that size. And then I really liked the fact that I'm going to go through a lot of different size pink beads, so picking the pink out was kind of a really simple decision based on the fact that I'm doing Valentine's Day. And then obviously the white bicone bead, which is going to fit into here specifically, is easy to go with any color. So that's why I pick what's actually clear. I said white, but I meant clear. So being that it's a clear one, I can go purple, blue, pink, whatever color, and it's still going to match, and it's still going to be that component piece for every single one of these designs that I'm going to make. And also keep in mind that, you know, depending on the age of the person who's going to be making these, or if you do this as a group event or something, you can pick beads that are a little bit more inexpensive or a little bit more, you know, like a different material as far as like a plastic. You know, you've got really good, fun, colorful options that are inexpensive and good for the kids to make. It makes it that much more fun to maybe make a teacher's gift or something where you have your child make it for one of the teachers or something. But nonetheless, let me get these pieces kind of cut off and put together, and then we'll start laying out the design. I typically fast forward the design layout part because it does take time for me to think about some of it. Sometimes it goes fast, sometimes it takes a little bit. Nonetheless, if I need to explain anything as I go, I definitely will. As you can see, this is going to be the top, that's the middle, and that is the bottom right there. So here we go. So I'm just going to actually cut this apart, and stick these clear beads right here for right now. I'm going to leave this one attached because this is more than enough to get a design done. Oh, okay, I'm going to pull this fishing line off. There we go. Okay, so we're going to be using 2 of these, one on each side of this piece right here, and that's going to keep this firm so that no matter what it is that you hook to this, you won't have a sagging section. So hopefully you can see in this section here, I've got the same thing, same shape beads. It's kind of halfway in between that, and that's exactly what we're doing right here. So I'll set those up for all 4. Now, if you wanted to, you could make all of these the exact same pattern design. I personally am one for doing everything one-of-a-kind design, so it's going to be 4 different patterns. Some of them might match a little bit, but a different color, different size bead, but nonetheless, they will be 4 different kinds. as you can see, I have completed the design, and I am now ready to string them up so that they can all be hanging with their crystals. So I'm going to actually move this aside very carefully. Okay. I want to use this to bead on. All right. So I have gone over the tying process that I do before in other videos, so I try not to be a broken record and repeat myself too much. This video is a little bit more about the design and how you can do the Valentine's Day theme. So I'm just going to tie these up really quick, and again, it's just a really simple knot. I forgot the technical name for it. My apologies. I call it a fisherman's knot. I've always called it a fisherman's knot forever, but it's real simple, and I do break it down in video that I'll attach below so that you guys can hit that link and just go watch that real quick about the tying process. So here I am. I get it down to the crystal as tight as I can by using my nails and pulling with this. I use a fishing line, and so it is kind of hard to focus on. My apologies if it's really difficult to see. But it's basically the strongest line that I prefer to use over a middle too. I don't want to use a middle. I don't want to use a crimp bead. I just want to do a really simple process that other people can easily get their hands on. This, for instance, is a 17-pound test. You in no reason need to do that strong of a fishing line. This just happened to be an extra rule that we don't use, and so I'm going to be using it for that purpose. But you do want something that if there is, you know, something that comes and pulls on this real quickly while it's hanging, it not coming apart is ideal, because I would hate to see that you guys lose your beads and this whole thing comes apart too easily. So I do think that overkill is a little bit acceptable in this case. So I cut the fishing line end down just a little bit, and then I'll burn this tip to where it's just before the knot so that I can put a little flat end on it with the tip of the lighter. Constantly blow, so do a little bit of the lighting the line and then blow on it, because it's an invisible fire. You will not see that fire, and obviously depending on the age of the people who are doing this, make sure that the adults are the ones doing this part, because that is the safest. Anyway, so here we go. We've got that knot real low. Okay, I've cut the line. It's way too long. I definitely cut it too long, but it's extra so that when I tie at the end, I'm not fighting my fingers with this really short fishing line. So what I do is I'm going to start beading from this end, and I will end off here because that will be the top of the actual sun catcher, and the base of the sun catcher is where I start with that. It's an acrylic fluted bead. You guys can use any kind of material on this. I have others that are metal. Let me show you. So for instance, if you wanted to do something that's fairly large and really fancy, especially if it's for a family member, maybe your mother, your sister, whatnot, I streamline these, so I try to use the same type of beads for each one. But there are so many different versions of how you can put tips on these, and it's really your preference what you'd like to do. You can even get the smaller ones in the middle as well. And for size reference, there's the acrylic one. So you can see the difference in all of these ones, for example, that I have. And they even come smaller than that. If you have a really small crystal, you can use these little guys as well. And that's the smallest option right there. These are all different types of fluted beads, so you just look up the description of a fluted bead and then your material that you choose. I'm just making these to put into my shops, so that people can get them before Valentine's Day. I have 2 shops locally here that you can find my product in, so it's really cool to be able to stock them up with things that now I'm showing you a process of how to make them on the video, and then I'm going to have them up for sale inside of the local shop. So make sure when you put a directional bead on that you're paying attention to which direction you put it. You don't want to get to the end and realize you've done something upside down. Okay, you guys, as you can see, I have finished up with the last one here. I'm just tying it off, and I really like how they turned out. It's a great example, I think, of how you can kind of jazz up that theme, not only with a charm like this, which is what I'm going to be hanging off of here, but just with the design itself. It's got a very pretty pink and or Valentine-ish type of theme. This one I've got a little bit of roses on it. Not everybody's into pinks and purples and stuff, and I get that. So I definitely always try to make something a little bit more neutral, and obviously doesn't necessarily have to be Valentine, but what I'm going to do is add the charm, and that definitely makes it fit that category. Okay, so the last one here, I'm going to crimp. This is a clamshell bead, so I'm just crimping that one closed right now, and then I will take my pliers here, closing those. and I take this pair of pliers here and I just get to the very tip of that piece at the top, which you curl up then as tight as you wish to have it. I always go as small as I can because what I'm putting through is just a simple loop to be attached to something else in which you would hang wherever you wish to hang these. So, okay, so there's 4 different ones that I've gotten completed. Just kind of lay these out for you guys so you can see the different designs. I really like the look of the hearts. That's obviously, you know, fits the theme that I'm going for here. And with the amount of beads that I have left, it's quite a bit, and it gives me an opportunity to make more than what I have spent in example. You know, I don't necessarily disclose the price of these because I don't sell just the crystal, and I'm not a wholesaler. I do have a business license, so I make sure that I purchase things in a way that makes sense for me to be able to sell them to you already made, and with the time spent to be putting them together ready to go for you as a gift. So that gives you an example of what it is that you're either saving by getting it this way and making it yourself, and you have several more than just the 4 that are here. Or it gives you an example of what you can start with, and if you wish to be selling these or a version of these, not necessarily copying my exact design, but it gives you a great example of how to start out doing something as a simple design, getting all of the components together, and then you break out your price points and be able to sell those to the public that way. So you don't have to have a business license. It's just something in my for what I do. It helps me to have it because I do so many different projects that it more than makes sense for me to try and have those things available to me because of having my business license. So anyways, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to make more here because I do have to be filling up 2 stores. One of them is actually doing a grand opening from a remodel, and so I want to have plenty to put up in that store as well. Alright guys, I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, please leave them below. And if you are looking for any of these, remember you can hit out your local Michael's Craft Store. That's where I got all of these. This is a bead landing product, and the sale at the time was buy 3 get 3 free. So basically that's also what gave me a little bit more product, because had these not been on sale, I obviously would not have gotten this many, but it was a buy 3 get 3 free, so I went ahead and got as many as I could afford, and I actually had a $50 gift card, so the fact that I spent like 53 bucks, it was perfect. Alright, now I'm going to get my charms all looped up and added to these, and then I'll get them prepared to be sold. But again, thanks guys for watching, and tune into the next one. I'm doing some more Valentine projects, and I hope you join me for it. Thanks.